I'm Ryan Drapella, and in today's video, I'm going to share with you the exact framework that I use to get my first 100 sales on my Etsy shops. These same Etsy shops have now gone on to do over $9.5 million in sales. Now, getting those first 100 sales was by far the hardest part, and I know how frustrating it can be feeling stuck, wondering why your shop isn't growing. That's why I created the simple framework, a step-by-step guide to take out all the frustration and guesswork. To make this even easier, I've included a free PDF of the simple framework in the description so you can follow along and go through its step-by-step detailed checklist. Let's dive right in. Step 1 in the simple framework is just to get your shop set up and live. And why this is the first step, because this is the biggest hurdle that I see all Etsy sellers or potential Etsy sellers make, is that they're so scared because they don't know what to sell, they don't want to pick the wrong niche, they don't want to pick the wrong shop name, they don't have a logo ready yet, and all of those little tiny mental roadblocks hold them back from actually ever starting an Etsy shop in the first place or ever creating listings. And so this first step is just so crucial. Get your shop set up, make it live, it only takes a few hours, and then create what I call 5 crappy listings. And why I call them 5 crappy listings is because these will probably be the worst listings you will ever make on your Etsy shop. And you're gonna be a little bit confused, you don't know exactly how to make them, you don't know how to take photos yet, you don't know what tags, titles, descriptions, all of that stuff is, so you need to get 5 of them up and just kind of eat the glass, right? Just kind of crunch on that glass and be like, I don't know what I'm doing, but that's okay. And so just get up 5 listings. I don't care what you're selling. I don't care what the photos look like. As long as you create 5 and they are up and Etsy knows you are serious because you set up your shop and you created listings. This is the most critical step. The next step in the simple framework is the I, and that is to initiate trust. And what you're trying to do here is signal to Etsy that you are a trustworthy shop, and also signal to your customers that you are also a trustworthy shop so they feel comfortable buying from you. So how to do this on the customer front is you want to get a 5-star review in as early as possible. So what you do is you reach out to friends and family and you try to get any review and any sale as quick as you possibly can. And so if your Etsy shop has been sitting 3 months and you haven't got a sale or a review, it could just simply be for the reason that you don't have any trust or credibility with the customer, because as a customer, you're coming in, you're looking at this item, and if it has no reviews, you don't want to be the guinea pig or the first one to test it. But once it has a single 5-star review, you know that somebody else has already bought something and they had a great experience, and so it really relieves the stress and the credibility and the trust that that customer is gonna have in your Etsy shop. So try to get this review any way possible. Now the one caveat to that is, don't let your grandma write this giant long review that looks fake, because customers are gonna be able to tell that. So keep it simple, don't make it this giant fluffy review, but try to get at least one, and that's going to signal trust to your customers. Now, how to signal trust and credibility to Etsy is through the shop optimization checklist. And what this checklist is, and it's in the PDF, once again, that's in the description, is exactly what Etsy is looking for a fully complete shop. And so whenever your shop is fully optimized, it knows that this person is serious and I can trust them, so I can send them out to other customers that are in the Etsy atmosphere. Now, a lot of people skip this step because they get it live and they don't worry about all the little details like your shop icon, your shop banner, your About Us story, all the different settings and options that you have to go through to finish that out. So once your shop is fully optimized, Etsy is gonna start liking it and we'll start trusting it a lot more to promote to more people. Plus, now you're bringing in that 5-star review or multiple 5-star reviews, and what that's doing is signaling to Etsy and your customers that, hey, this guy is trustworthy and he makes a good product. And so once again, in the PDF is the shop optimization checklist, and within CIC Academy, in the Etsy Accelerator course, I have a 20-minute video that outlines exactly what to do, where to do it, and how to do it. So if you're interested in that, check that out. The link is also in the description. Now let's go on to step 3 in the simple framework. Step 3 in the simple framework is to make better photos. Now, I'm like you, I absolutely hate taking photos, and I'm really not the best at it, but I will tell you firsthand, and if you watch this channel, I've told you time and time again that photos are the number one most important thing. So at this step, you should have a couple reviews coming in, your shop is fully optimized. Now it's time to go back and revisit those first 5 initial listings that you made, and you wanna start iterating on those photos and make them better. So how to do that is that you wanna have very simple backgrounds or have some kind of lifestyle image. And so what you're looking at now is one of the very first photos that I did for my hit product, the docking station. As you can see, it's just not that good. And then once I learned to lighten up the background, use some different poster board and lighting setup, my photos got a lot better and they turned into that one. And that listing did over $1.3 million in sales. But once again, it wasn't because the listing was bad or it wasn't because I didn't have enough of them. It was just simply my outward facing photography wasn't the best it could possibly do. Now, once again, those original photos did do some sales, but whenever I changed them, I was able to do more sales because that's the first thing that customer is seeing, and that's going to get them to click on your listings. And so now so far in the simple framework, you've made your shop, you've made some crappy listings, you have went through and optimized it and got some reviews in. Now you're going back and just editing those photos and making them better, retaking them and readjusting those 5 listings that you made. And once again, it's just getting other people's opinions, looking at other listings that are doing better than yours in whatever niche you have and just trying to adjust. And I personally do have to get help from time to time on this because I am not that good of a photographer, but I do know that that is the most important thing, and I do spend 40 to 80 hours just on a photo reel for my listings. So that's the next step you want to do. Step 4 is to produce more listings. And simply put, the more listings that you have on Etsy, the better chance you have being found on the platform. It's just simple numbers. And so I call this the shotgun method, and it's where you make multiple listings for just a single item. So like I've talked about in previous videos, this isn't a wooden clipboard. This is also a teacher appreciation gift, a spa gift, a orthodontist gift, a construction worker gift, a restaurant menu board holder. And so this item right here can be so many different things. It's not just a walnut clipboard. And so when you're making multiple listings, you're kind of thinking in that avenue. And how you want to do this, in my personal opinion, is you want to make 1 new listing a day until you have 20 listings on your shop. Because once you have 20 listings on your shop, the page on your shop actually fills up and you have 1 complete page on your shop, and that helps with the professionalism and the look of your shop, and once again, increases the chances of being found. Now, once again, these first 100 sales are like pushing a boulder, right? At first, it's gonna be really hard and nothing's gonna wanna move, but once that boulder starts rolling and rolling down that hill, it's pretty much easy street from here on out. And so this is the next step in the simple framework that's going to allow you to keep building that momentum and really start pushing that boulder down that hill. Step number 5 is to leverage your insights. And what this is you're finally actually going to look at the stats and the data that Etsy has been giving you. So up until this point, I am not concerned at all about how many views I'm getting, what my conversion rate is, anything that has to do with that stats channel, because frankly, I didn't really care up until this point because I have other things going on. I'm making more of those listings. I'm getting some sales that are starting to trickle in. I'm getting those reviews that are starting to trickle in. And so if you have been making sales up until this point, you have to make sure you are getting as many reviews as possible. So you better be writing a handwritten thank you note on every single order that you're getting, thanking them so much for supporting your small business, supporting your dream, and actually ask them, hey, Susie, thank you so much. You're supporting my dream. and a 5-star review on my Etsy channel would help out tremendously and really put me a step ahead. Thank you so much. I hope you have a great day. You need to be doing that on every single order that's coming in as you're going through this process, because once again, you're stacking that trust and credibility on the customer facing front and the Etsy facing front. So now that you're looking at the insights, this is where you start to adjust and pivot, right? You see what listing is getting a lot of views, what photos are getting a lot of views, what titles are working, and then you make even more listings based off of that. And so at this point, I'm looking at my top 2 or 3 performing listings, and most likely you're gonna have 2 or 3 listings that perform better than any other one. And you're gonna go back and you're gonna duplicate those and see why that listing is working. Maybe it's the photo, it's just better. Maybe it has a person in it. Maybe it has a cleaner background. You don't really know until you start going back and analyzing them. And you don't really have a lot of listings to analyze until you make 20 of them. And so this is once again where you go back, look at your title, look at your description, maybe adjust it. Maybe you're having messages come in from customers and it's always the same question, right? How do I take care of this piece? Or what is this piece made out of? Or what size is this piece? And so then you make a photo with the size of that piece, saying what it's made from and how you take care of it. And boom, you know what? That starts doing better. Or the one photo of the listing that's taken off, you make 5 more listings with that header photo, and you might change around the title a little bit. And then also implement that new frequently asked questions picture and add something to your description. And so, this is the fun part where you start to use your own brain juices to go in and start figuring this stuff out. And so that is what this step is for. It's to really go in and iterate on the results that you are seeing within your shop. Now, at this step, if you're not seeing results, let's go on to the next step in the process. And that brings us to the final step, experiment and expand. And the key point in this step is that you may have to pivot or find a new product. And so if you have done every single step in this simple framework and you still haven't really had any sales come in, and you've created 20 listing and the only sales that you have had are from the friends and family, then and only then it is the product that you picked or the niche. And so what I want you to do now is you're gonna have to pivot and try to find an untapped product or an untapped niche. And I do have a video over that. I'll leave a link in the description for it where I talk about 5 untapped Etsy niches. And so check out that in the description. But what this looks like is, once again, if you have done every single thing and are still seeing no results, then and only then it's time to pivot. Most likely at this point, you're probably gonna wanna expand. And so you don't have to experiment with new niches. You just need to expand and keep doing what you're doing because you start to have sales come in. And a lot of times you may not have to do anything different. You just keep iterating and going over that leverage your insights, that L in the simple framework, and keep leveraging that and keep iterating and keep taking better photos and keep making more listings. I have 9 items that I sell in my Etsy shop and I have over 400 listings because once I found my niche, I didn't have to pivot. I just started expanding. And so once again, you're at this crucial point in this step in the framework. And once again, if you only had 2 or 3 sales come in the following 30, 60, 90 days of following this framework, then yes, pivot. But if you've started to have sales coming in, you're at 30 sales, 40 sales, 20 sales, just keep doing what you're doing and those sales are going to continue to grow and continue to expand. Now, there may be opportunities for developing different product lines within your existing product line. And so let's say you're a sign shop and you're doing, I don't know, signs for family members. Maybe you go into wedding signs, right? Or maybe you go into giant child signs for nurseries or something like that. And so that is where you start expanding and then it really takes off and you hit that niche and you just start flying. And so this is the simple framework that I have used time and time again to grow my Etsy shop, to grow others' Etsy shops, and it has been a tremendous success. So if you want to watch the video about the untouched Etsy niches, go here. I hope you left this video with more knowledge than when you started. And remember guys, if you ain't cutting it close, you ain't cutting it right.